How does adenomyosis impact fertility? Off the back of my last video, so many of you in the questions have asked me this. So I'm going to break this down using the data and the research that we have so far. We have to always caveat the fact that we don't know that much about adenomyosis and how it actually interplays with that fertility role. In fact, where does that disease progress happen? How fast that disease progress happens? There's a lot that we still need to learn, but let me break down how our fertility is affected if you are impacted or living with adenomyosis. So for the purpose of this reel, I'm using this review paper that was out in 2023, which looked at the impact of adenomyosis and fertility. One of the ways that your fertility can be impacted if you're living with adenomyosis is implantation problems. So the abnormal uterine tissue, so cells similar to the lining of the womb grow into the muscular wall. That's what adenomyosis is. Well, that uterine muscle tissue can make it difficult for an embryo to implant in the uterine lining and therefore grow into a pregnancy. And with that in mind, we also find that there's reduced IVF success. Studies have shown that women with adenomyosis have lower rates of pregnancy and implantation, as well as higher rates of miscarriage, even with IVF. With adenomyosis, uterine contractions can change, and therefore, if that happens, that may interfere with implantation and embryo development. Adenomyosis, like endometriosis, so cells similar to the lining of the womb which get deposited into the pelvis and elsewhere in the body as well, because endometriosis is a whole body disease, can cause inflammatory or inflammation, and that inflammatory environment has a negative impact on trying to get pregnant and also on the embryonic development. So we know that with endometriosis it can make a hostile environment for transport of sperm because of that inflammatory process, which makes it difficult to fall pregnant. With adenomyosis, you can get a bulky, large uterus, so you can get distorted anatomy because of that bulky, large uterus, which makes it difficult for any of the ovums or the embryo transportation that can happen into the endometrial lining. So here's the endometrial lining here, and that can make implantation difficult. It's really important to know that not everybody has difficulty falling pregnant if they've got adenomyosis and endometriosis, but yes, it can impact your fertility in those number of ways that I've just discussed. Also with adenomyosis, you can have fibroids, you can have PCOS, you might have adenomyosis and endometriosis and scar tissue, your lifestyle factors, if you're smoking, if you're drinking, and also the quality of your partner's sperm. 50% of the baby is made from your partner is also really important too, as that plays a factor in your ability to fall pregnant. And that's why it's really vital that we get a diagnosis early, and so we can support you in your pregnancies as you try and find and form your family. I hope that's been helpful.